Can she come on just for the election?
The
of
election?
officers? That's okay.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
Okay, I'll let you know when we're gonna be live in just a second here. Okay, we're live.
Link in just a moment. Okay, well, so we can call this meeting to order. And the time right now is 4:33. So we will call this meeting to order. However, our first order of business is actually an oath of office for our newest library board member. And so in order to do that, I will hand this on back to Caitlin. So Caitlin, if you will take it on from there.
Okay, thank you. All right, Kevin, so we're gonna do this oath. This can be very frightening here. Okay, I state your name,
I, Kevin Gosselin,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
and the laws of the state of United States
and the laws of the United States
and state of Washington
and the state of Washington
and the ordinances of the city of Lake Stevens,
and the ordinance of the city of Lake Stevens,
and that I and that I will faithfully and impartially
that I will faithfully and impartially
perform and discharge the duties
perform and discharge the duties
of library board member
of library board member
according to the law
according to the law,
and to the best of my ability and understanding.
according to the best of my abilities and understanding.
All right, congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'm waiting to hear back from Leanne in just a moment to find out whether she can get online with us. So
It looks
the-
like she's online right now. Leanne, can you hear us?
This is excellent.
Yes, I can hear you.
Well, there we go.
Okay.
All right. So let's just get this done with. We are going to have election of officers. I failed to do that the last time around. I want to be sure that we do it right away. And then Leanne, we will let you go. And
I'm sorry.
there we go. Okay. And Shaylin has graciously agreed to take notes for us.
Thank you, Lynn.
And so, but also keep in mind that you can watch the video afterwards and make the actual notes from there. Okay, so that you will actually be the one doing the minutes. Okay, so let's go ahead and get this out of the way. I am going to make a nomination for Secretary Leanne Balbarona to continue in service. Is there a second for that?
Second.
I'll second it.
Okay, Melissa, thank you. All right, Melissa Mafio has seconded. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Everybody's saying aye. Okay, good. All right. I would believe that we have no one saying otherwise. That being the case, she is elected unanimously by the group here. I guess you said aye, right, Kevin? So you
Yes,
can.
yes, thank
Good.
you.
So
I will be here for the other meeting. Sorry, I can't be there today.
okay, that's fine. All right, so Leanne, we thank you very much for coming in, and I hope that everything turns out fine for your kids there. So, all right,
Thank you. All right. Good night, everyone.
good. Oh, whoa, hold on. Are you?
Oh,
We're good, thank you. I just needed Kevin's last name.
Gosselin. That's Gosselin.
Okay. Well, the only thing, if you wanted to participate, Leanne, if you want to participate in the next thing, someone else, if you would like to nominate anyone for chair, and then it would have to be seconded, neither. So, I'm sorry, who is that?
we nominate Abe for council, board president. Chair,
That's Chair, but that's okay.
sorry.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Okay, and Joanne is seconding. Okay, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
There we go. All right, so we're done. All right, thank you very much. Well, I'll address some of this at the end when we have board comments, and we'll come back around to that. But I thank you very much, everyone, for your patience on that. So that being the case, now at this time, Leanne, you stay on as long as you like. You're not being forced to leave, but we understand that you may have to. So there you go. All right, so normally we would have the introductions or roll call earlier, but we wanted to get this out of the way. I want to start with our newest board member, Kevin. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? Normally we would just go around and say, I'm so-and-so, and I've served on the, library board for this much time, but since you just came on, that's not a pertinent question, is it? So just tell us about yourself and why you chose to serve this way.
Sure. So I used to be a graphic designer, but I had children with my wife, and I decided to be a stay-at-home dad for the last now 13 years. I still do graphic design and art on the side, but my primary role is as a caregiver to my kids. But I was inspired by my neighbor Caitlin to do a little bit of public service. And when I saw that there was an opening for the library board, I jumped at it. So yeah, here I am. My family is a really huge user, a patron of the library. My daughters are there at least once a week, constantly taking out books. So yeah.
Yeah. So just to let you know, the other board members was very impressed in the interview with how much of a user that Kevin is. And so for me, it was just, it was a no-brainer. It was like, yeah, of course. I mean, this guy belongs on this board. So anyway, I think it'll be very active. And thank you very much.
As soon as I get my jitters out of the way, yes, once I relax.
Yeah.
I guess in this case, being a user is a good thing, right?
Yes, yeah. In this case, yes, absolutely. So in this particular case, it absolutely is. So as we continue along here, we have a new city council member who is the liaison for this board. And so I want to give you an opportunity to kind of introduce yourself and just say whatever you would like to say, Kim. That's K-Y-M-M, Shipman,
Okay.
just as it's spelled. There you go.
Well, as mentioned, my name's Kim Shipman and I'm your new city council liaison. I stepped in for Mary, who retired. So I know I have some pretty big shoes to fill. She had nothing but great things to talk about our library and the direction that it's going. So I'm just excited to listen and learn and help where I can.
Okay, well, thank you so much for being here. And trust me, it wasn't always the case that people, consider city council members would attend. You already said the thing about big shoes to fill. I don't like to say that because it means big feet or something. But no, in truth, I really am glad that you're here and this inaugural meeting for us. We only meet quarterly, so we hope you will make it to each one of them. But anyway, we're just thrilled that you're doing that. Okay, let's see, Nancy, if you are available, if you want to unmute yourself, just say hello, how long you've served here, since you are actually, your name comes up next here. But Nancy, you go ahead.
Hello, I've been on the board for 1 year, well, half a year or something like that. I filled this position last year.
That's right. And by the way, Nancy is very involved with the Historical Society as well. So that's something that she has a great passion for. And so we're thrilled that she is with us on the board. Andy, what would you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yeah, Andy Powers, I'm a board member and I've been on the board for quite a while now. I was the next person after Abe, so however long Abe's been.
And I keep forgetting how long I've been here, so I don't know. And I should remember that, but I don't know. So something like, is it 9 years, something like that?
Sounds about right. Yeah,
Okay.
2 jobs ago, or not for me, so that's how I remember that, but yeah.
Okay, that's one way to do it. Yeah, you've got kids. You should be able to remember how old they were when.
They're gone.
Oh, okay, yeah. All right. Well, anyway, you go ahead.
Okay, I
I'm Shaylin Charvet Bates and I have been on the board for like 16 years,
Yes.
18 years, 16 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she was like 12 when she joined the
Yes.
board.
Yes.
So anyway, you can see how that. So anyway, all right. Well, thank you. And yes, she's been a champion for the board, served as, secretary, as chair, as, everything that you can imagine. So Shaylin is a great part of what we've been doing. So I am Abe Martinez. I am once again the chair of the library board. And as you already heard, I've been here with it for probably about, we don't know, 9 years, something like that. Okay, so let's see. Melissa, how about you next?
Yes, hi, I'm Melissa Maffio, and I've been on the board for 5 years now. Welcome to the city council member and to Kevin. Really happy that you're joining us, and I'm sorry I'm not there in person.
All right. Thank you so much. And Emily, if you hear us just fine, you can come on and.
Yeah. Hi, my name's Emily Stainbrook, and I've been on the board for, I think, 3 or 4 years. Yeah, also apologies that I couldn't attend in person, but congratulations to all of our new people joining, and I look forward to meeting you at the next meeting.
All right, excellent. Okay, Joanne.
I'm Joanne Van Leuven. I've been on the board for over a year. I just have to say that last board meeting, I was on a Caribbean cruise and the weather's better there than here. Just gotta say.
Knowing that, of course, it's
It's
kind of
better.
hard. Okay, well, anyway, thank you for being here. Okay, for our Snow Isle staff, you please introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm Antoinette Morales Tanner. I'm the Lake Stevens Library Manager, and I've held that position for just over 2 years. Hello, I'm Lois Langer Thompson. I'm the Executive Director for the Snow Isle Library District. And I know that Paul Ryan was hoping to be here, and I'm not sure if work got in the way, but he is the Vice President of the Board of Trustees, if he's able to join us, and also a Lake Stevens resident.
That's true. Yeah.
And also in the audience, we have Lindsay Hansen, who oversees the East District, and you all know from when she managed Lake Stevens as well.
Absolutely so. Is it okay if we introduce with the city who is here from the city as well?
Thank you, Caitlin. I'm Gene Brazel, City Administrator, and believe it or not, I've just started my 8th year here. So
Really?
pretty excited about that. Yeah. And I'm excited to be here tonight and give you guys a little bit of an update later.
All right.
And I'm Caitlin Weaver, Deputy City Clerk, and I'm starting my 3rd year here.
Right. Good. Well, there you have it. And I hope that lets everyone know who fits where and how long we've been here. Okay, so we've gotten that. Now, the minutes, these got to us a little bit late. I don't know that people got it. Did anyone get these as email besides me?
No, they're just being handed out tonight. They needed a couple. little
Okay,
tweaks, yep.
so, so then the ones online would not have an opportunity to see these. Should I read them or something?
Probably not read them all the way. I'm happy to send a quick email. If you guys want to review, I can send an email to the 3 that are online. Just give me a moment.
Sure, and let me just make a recommendation here to those who are joining us via Zoom. I have read them. These were sent to me preliminarily yesterday or today. I can't remember exactly. But I did get a chance to look them over. I think that on the whole, everything is fine. And I see that Caitlin, you took the those extra comments that were at the end that were from the previous set of notes or minutes.
Yeah, I apologize for not sending them out to everyone. I just wanted to make some last minute edits with Leanne's approval. So I thought I would bring them down this evening.
Yeah, no, it was very good of you to have these available here. If you would like to look over them quickly, those of you who are here, we just need to approve the minutes. I believe that they were good. There was an issue of some extra information that was at the end, but it's already been deleted, so it's not a problem. Let me know when you have finished looking it over and if you have any anything that you would feel that, needs to be changed?
And they've just been sent for the 3 members that are virtual.
Okay, all right, thank you very much. Now, I don't know whether you're going to have an opportunity to read those, especially, looks like Melissa, you are maybe in a car and that would not be the most convenient thing for you to pull that up and to look it over.
Abe, would you like to go on to the reports just to give people a chance to glance and we could come back to the approval of minutes?
That's a good idea. Why
Okay.
don't we just go right on to our reports and we'll come back to the approval of minutes at the end, okay? So we begin, Friends of the Library. Now, I did get a note out to them last week about this, and that's okay. Technically speaking, we as a board are to hear reports primarily from Snow Isle and then as well from the city. And that's the fact that the Friends come is fine, but they're not a taxpayer supported entity. So we love to hear that report. I've let them know, by the way, that if they want to email a report to me and I can share those notes, that would be okay. Okay. However, we don't seem to have anybody representing the Friends here tonight. So we will move on to the managing librarian. So we will open with your report.
I'd actually like to turn it over to Lois first to share some updates on Snow Isle capital projects.
That sounds great.
Thank you. So Antoinette and I will be take teaming a little bit. I'm going to give the from the district perspective, and then she'll be filling in some of the details. We are happy to take your questions. We'll answer whatever we can. And if we can't, we'll be happy to look into it and get back to you with that information. So thank you for the time on the agenda. I was going to say this afternoon, but I think we're quickly moving into evening, or at least it feels like evening here in the darkness. And I want to thank you for your commitment and your leadership to the board and then to the Lake Stevens Library. It means a lot to us that you take this time and provide this leadership. This last weekend, we reopened the Edmonds Library. You might have read in the paper, 60,000 gallons of water came in and flooded it out. And we immediately had to shut it down and completely empty it out and remove all sorts of things, flooring and up the wall ways. But we opened and it was absolutely amazing. The building was full of people excited and thrilled to be there and to see it. And I skipped ahead a little in my mind and pictured the Lake Stevens Library opening, and I think it will be equally amazing and as well received by the Lake Stevens community as well. We are leading this project. We are funding this project. And so we are happy to talk about what's going on. I also want to thank the city staff for their attention to the project. As most of you know, right now it's in the permitting process, which is, I don't know, do I want to say it's complicated? It takes a while to get it done. It's not a simple process. So it is with the city and they are giving it all due attention, and we really appreciate that. I wish I could say to you the opening day is this exact date, but that is not going to happen tonight, just to set your expectations. But I'd like to turn it back over to Antoinette to give you some details, and then we can open up for more discussion. So I wanted to do a little bit of a recap of what has happened in the last couple of months, and then talk about where we are currently and what our next steps are. I saw many of you at the design drop-in in December, so thank you so much for attending. For those of you who are not able to attend, it was at Hillcrest Elementary, and we had our architects and landscape designers as well as Snow Isle staff there talking about the latest designs for the Lake Stevens Library. I've actually brought a few of the posters that were on display. So for those of you who are not able to attend, we have the revised exterior, the potential interior. So this is a very early depiction of what the interior of the first floor could look like. And then the current plans for the floor plans for this two-story building. We're still working on exactly where everything will go within those floor plans. So some of these pieces are placeholders, but this gives you an idea of where we are. We've gotten some really wonderful feedback from the community about these revised designs. And most of the feedback that we've received at this point is really eagerness for when the library will open, basically. So that's great because that lets us know that we're on the right track. As Lois mentioned, we have submitted the land use development application. That is a 492-page document. Just to give you some sense of what kind of work has gone into this, that includes 106 drawings and diagrams from landscape architects, sound engineers, electrical and lighting engineers, and LEED scorecard consultants. This building will be LEED Silver. At this moment is meeting LEED Silver standards. So it will be one of the most sustainable buildings, if not the most sustainable building in Snow Isle, which is something that we're really proud of. That's sort of all of the things that have kind of been happening in the last month or so. Currently, we are in development of the next permit packet, which will be submitted in the first quarter of 2024. That's another packet of designs, documentation, and that will be submitted in the next couple of months. We're also in conversation with the Snohomish County Conservation District. I just wrapped up a meeting today, actually, with our landscape architects to talk about a native plant activity for the new site. So we're working with a few community partners to figure out a way to bring the community in to give them a sense of connection and ownership over some of the landscaping that's going to be going in. We're in continued conversations with the Friends of the Library about their space needs. We're meeting with a small committee of representatives from the Friends and talking about their space, their furniture, their book sale, their storage, and working with them. They're really excited about the project and really excited to see it move forward. The next steps will be assembling the comprehensive bid packet. As a public agency, we have to go through the bidding process that requires putting together RFPs, documentation, receiving bids, interviewing, a Q&A period, going through the bidding process, and then hiring a contractor. We are still on track to break ground in 2024. And so that's where we are now with the project. And I just wanted to pause here and let you kind of take all that in. It was a lot of information all at once. But if you have any questions for either Lois or myself.
Well, first question I have for the folks who are online and maybe didn't get a chance to see the plans. I don't recall, this is online or, yeah.
It is online. It's on the Lake Stevens Library webpage under snowisle.org. These are also on display at the library. So come on down. There are these and 2 more. So this is what would fit in my car tonight. But they are on display at the library as well.
Okay, so there you go. For those of you online, that would be that's great. You have a question or no? Oh, okay.
Okay. I just had a couple questions. One, could you tell me a little bit about the sustainability that you mentioned? Just briefly what that entails. And then when you're breaking ground, your projected date is 2024. Are we looking at spring? Are we looking at some, because we're not doing it in the winter, that's for sure. So I'm assuming, it's going to be spring or summer or fall. Do you have like a ballpark on what quarter of 2024 that might happen?
The earliest we would be breaking ground is summer. It could go into fall, depending on how all these pieces fall into place, right? Some things just take longer than we expect. The bidding process can take longer, but if it moves out past fall, then we'll be talking to you again because something else has happened, right? Something has caused a major delay or something's happened, but so we think summer or fall will be groundbreaking. And then I'm going to let Antoinette answer the sustainability question, or begin to answer and we can get you more.
I have the basics, but if you have specific questions, I'm happy to take that back to our capital design team. So LEED standards have specific building code standards for sustainability. Some of this sustainable aspects of this building include the use of mass timber. Mass timber is local and a sustainable building material. We're also looking at solar panels, so that will provide the electricity for the building. The way that they are building the roof, and the way that the building itself will kind of contain water and draw water back into the wetlands area. And then also there will be electric vehicle chargers on site. So there are a variety of different elements that go into all of that. That's really just very bare bones, very basic. We're also looking at some significant restoration and enhancement of the wetlands that are on the property. There's a wetland buffer that does not allow us to build into that area. So we'll be using native plants to enhance that area and provide outdoor learning opportunities. So that will also be part of the sustainability. Does that answer your question?
It does. Thank
I
you.
can add a couple things too that I'm intrigued by. The carpet and the paint, you know how sometimes they give off heavy, so they're lower gas emissions. They're often recycled materials that we use for it. We look at carpet and furniture that's called a rub test to make sure that in your home, you don't sit on something all that often. In a public space, lots of people sit on it, so we need it to last a long time so we're not replacing things. So those are some of the other kinds of things we think about. Also smart lighting, so that we're using daylighting and not depending completely on lighting in the building the whole time we're open. And then just this is not sustainability, but I was thinking about when Antoinette was talking about the sound system. When we opened up Edmonds, it has a wall that can open in the meeting room so that it can expand into the full building. And so the building was full of people and we were doing the speeches. And you know how normally like you have a microphone and a really bad speaker and 4 people can kind of hear what you're saying? Everyone in the whole building could hear what we were saying. So that's the kind of level of the kinds of service that you'll get that you don't have yet, but will have.
Thank you.
I have a question. At the Friends of the Meeting, Friends of the Library meeting on Friday, we got to see an early look at some of the possible interiors and interactive spaces. Is that something that's going to be posted online soon, or is that they want to, the designers want to work on that a little bit more based upon the feedback of the Friends of the Library?
Yeah, so the images that were shared at the Friends of the Library meeting were inspiration images. So images from other libraries that Building Work has designed, images from other libraries that Building Work has not designed, Building Work being our architecture firm, to get a sense of what types of interior and furniture the Friends would like to sponsor. So those were more inspiration, not necessarily examples of what will be going into the Lake Stevens building. We're not quite at that phase yet. We're not picking furnitures, fixtures, or colors yet. We're at the kind of mood board or like Pinterest board stage, where we're trying to decide kind of what the feeling of the library is going to be. And those were shared. Those are 2 of the other boards that I have at the library that were shared at the design drop-in, the kind of like orange color for the children's area and the more green or earth tones for the adult area. So once we're further along in that process, we will absolutely be sharing that out with the community.
You know when you're going to expect another round of sort of inspirational work, or and there will be a period where the public will get to present feedback on what's presented?
Yeah, we're absolutely still taking feedback, throughout this process. So at any point in the process, if there are things that come to you, please definitely let me know. I take that and turn it over to our capital design team and our architecture team. I do not know the timeline for when the interior design work will be further along. It's something that they're working on, having taken the feedback from the design drop-in in December, and then our architecture team is working on it right now. But I don't have a timeline for that. That's just the phase that we're in, is late design phase.
It was just really interesting. I was excited to see it. So
yeah, there's some cool things out there, and there's a lot to choose from. And so that's part of the process, is kind of picking and choosing really what's going to fit and what's going to be the right fit for the community.
Thanks.
Could you tell us how you choose there'll be a lot of new materials. How are those materials chosen for the new library? I know they rotate with the snow owl.
For the books?
Mhm.
Do you want to do that? Or do you want me to do that? Okay, thank you. So, yeah, so we have a really strong collection. We have I believe, and Shaylin will make sure we quote this for the minutes. I believe it's 1.7 million items that we consider the collection for all of Snow Isle. So then we don't concentrate exactly because every day new books come into Lake Stevens and there is some floating collection, but there is a base collection that's there right now. We will have other collection added in to make it really fresh and new and exciting. So you will see more, and that is all done in our collection department. That centrally, they do it for the entire district. They pay attention to what circulates. So if suddenly there's a big rush on growing daffodils, we will buy a whole daffodil section for you. But so they pay attention to what circulates. The balance between children and adults will be based on current usage. So they do use a lot of data for that. That got to it? Okay. And then I would be remiss if I didn't say thank you to John Lovick, who has help through the state, appropriated over $3 million to this project. And he is highly committed to early literacy. And if you are down in Edmonds and have a chance to stop and see, we're doing some really interesting things with early literacy. Those of you who are familiar with this, there's a lot about building children's gross motor skills, which helps them learn to read and then to succeed in school. And so you will see areas that are very active where children we have a big light bright wall. It's called the Pebble that kids can climb in and interact with. And then we also have quiet space because some children probably most children need both. As adults, we need both too, right? We need quiet and active, trying to make sure that a child and their family can choose the spot that best works for them, a quiet place to interact and read or a more active spot. So that's some of what you'll start to see in the choices in the area, but just want to, if you see Senator Lovick, just give him a big thank you.
All right, I want to, go ahead.
Do you have it out to bid to to builders at this time, construction? You're not there yet. How many bids do you have to have? Is it like for a school district? I think you have to have 3 per building or something. Is there that sort of?
We are not the people to
Okay.
answer that.
I guess
Yes.
really what my question is in the area, are there library builders specifically? Is that who will bid on this? Do you suspect?
No, we've had both. Most contractors can do any kind of building right
Okay.
there, but they'll put it out for bid. That might work in someone's favor if they've done other libraries, but it would be part of the criteria that
Okay.
we would set up. I don't know. I don't think we'll have any trouble getting bids. On the island, sometimes it's a little trickier because there's just fewer people out there, but here I don't think we'll have any issue with it. We have to get through the permitting process before we can go out for bid. So it won't go out for bid until springish. And, it's Pacific Northwest. You tell me what spring is. So I can say spring and I can say it's still not quite spring, but yeah.
Thank you.
I do want to make it available, Emily and Nancy. I think you're still on. And so do you have any questions there? You just let me know. Okay, I see Emily shaking. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I don't have any questions. I was looking at it online, and it's very exciting. It looks beautiful.
Thanks, Emily. We're excited too.
Nancy, do you have any questions, anything that you would like?
Not at this time. Thank you.
Okay.
Is there anything you're hearing in the community that you wonder about or would like us to know about that you're hearing? That would be helpful for us to hear. Any questions or concerns from the community?
I would say that, well, first of all, I am pleased with the progress that was made, especially on the exterior. As you recall, when we had that first meeting here at the mill and the presentation was there, I thought the general feedback, I personally agreed with it, that it was a little institutional looking, not very attractive in terms of the exterior. Interior was great. I loved all the other things. So I'm grateful for the changes that have been made there. I haven't heard anything specific about it, but so far, just at the meeting that when these same pictures were made available, there seemed to be a marked improvement in the way that we saw saw that. I do know that there was some discussion at the meeting about the possibility of working with the city for parking issues, and then also the land that is behind that property is, I understand, owned by the city, but is protected. Is wetland area. And so, but all of that could possibly be, you know, as I understand, there's wetland area that's within the building area of that's owned by Snow Isle, and that's going to have some pathways made through there on the exterior. So anyway, we have that. Could that be extended into perhaps some of that wetland area that's protected that is owned by the city? After
Oh,
all?
okay.
You know, that was a question. I understand that hasn't been addressed yet. I just want to put that out there, that this was one of the discussion points. And, you know, obviously, if the more that the city and Snow Isle can do to take advantage of that available space, you know, that would be a great thing. So anyway, there is that. I do want to address this one thing. A part of this board's agenda, especially when in our first building that we used to be in, was always to ask, you know, hey, what can we do to support you in terms of this building? Because it was always something with the building, whether it was, you know, the parking lot or the lights or the whatever or something, you know. And so what can we go to the city and say, hey, can we get this fixed? Can we do that? I suspect that the building that you're in now is, you know, much great improvement, so that's good. But in terms of if there's anything going into the new building, I guess I just want to get this on the record. I've heard good reports that the city is doing its part in the process of, you know, getting all of the paperwork done. But I just kind of want to get this on record. Is everything working out? Is there anything that we can do as a board to support Snow Isle, if indeed there is anything to do?
Yeah, I think, Jean, I'm gonna look at you, but yeah, right? We have a great relationship with the city, and the city has been really attentive to everything we've sent in and the work that we need to do. It has been a long process. I was thinking when you were all talking about, I'm in year 6, and I told Shaylin, I think she was the very first person I met with, community member I met with when I came. And we were talking about the Lake Stevens Library building. So it's been on my, on mind and these things take a long time. But I really appreciate the city staying in it with us. And I think we're at a really good spot. But I also hear you say, if the city runs into trouble with us or we run into trouble with the city, you would be a good place to come and work with them.
We would hope to be, yeah. If we can help, then by all means, that's the role that we serve. We serve at the pleasure of the city council and the mayor. But by all means, we'd love to be a go-between in anything that we might do in that way.
Also, Abe, if I could just add one more thing, and it looks like Antoinette might have something to add too. I think also if you hear things in the community and you're not sure, or it seems like it's different than what you're hearing tonight, call me up, call Antoinette up. We'd be happy to clear up any confusion that's happening about things. Because I know that sometimes the grapevine gets a little long and it can, so we'd be happy to clear that up.
I just have
You do?
and I'm,
Do speak into the microphone. Just for the
absolutely.
sake of it.
so, there was, this conversation came up in a mom's group. I'm a grandma, so in a mom's group, with little ones. And there just seems to be some concern that the collection process for especially the kids area might not reflect the demographics of our community.
Okay, yeah.
So I went and checked it out one time and I was surprised, and I checked it out the next time and it seemed different, but just upon my little non-scientific study, the books that were up in the toddler section, the board books were, one after the other of books that, though they're good to have, maybe isn't the focus of our library.
Okay.
Lots of alternative lifestyles, lots of racial things, which are great. which are absolutely great. But maybe that shouldn't be the whole focus. And just the time that I was there, it was one after the other until, either about, animals or racial issues or different lifestyles. And it's all fine, absolutely fine. There's not a parent that I would value that would say that it wasn't, except if that's just the only thing. This mom's group was just a little bit concerned that, wow, do I feel safe having my toddler pick up a board book and every single one of them is something I wouldn't take home,
Okay.
just for whatever it's worth.
Okay. Thank you.
Because our
Appreciate
demographics
that.
might be different than other places.
Yeah.
that Snow Wild services.
Okay. Thank you. Antoinette, did you have something you wanted to add to?
I did. I just wanted to go back to Abe's point about the current building that we are in, and really just give a shout out to Justin. He's fantastic and so responsive. And the city is really wonderful. Like whenever we've had issues with, our gutters or landscaping or, we have like an emergency exit light out that needs to be replaced. They're the same day, the next day. So they really are doing a really wonderful job and we super appreciate it. So I just wanted to put your minds at ease. They're doing great. And that's why I'm not like, we need help with something, because they're really just on top of it.
That's good to hear. That's very, all right. Well, thank you. I know you've got more to do. One other question, since you opened the door to this in the acknowledgement of some of the finance that came through with Senator Lubbock. I know that we don't have yet a price tag necessarily, but ballpark, and how is this being financed? Because this is one of the things that, it was obviously a big deal when we were doing this ourselves. And so I'm still kind of iffy on that. Doesn't matter. It's not our, we're not going to own the building, but we are.
Yeah, no, it's a great question. So we don't have a price tag on it yet. Thank you, Antoinette. We don't have that. We're also, there's so much going on, right? The construction business is hard to predict right now what costs are going to come in at. So we're holding that loosely. And we also want to be sure that they bid to the project and not bid to the budget. So we don't have a specific budget. I will tell you, if I can just pull up from Lake Stevens and talk about Snow Island, our capital strategy, we had, I just have to look at my notes because I'm numbers. I just said something cost $10,000. It was 100,000. So like to get the right number of zeros in. In 2023, we appropriated $14 million in our budget for capital. And in 2024, we have over 13 million appropriated, and we will continue that. So we are looking at a portfolio of funding, which includes state and federal grants, and we do have some state grants already. Operating funds, we're looking at our foundation, if that works to raise some private dollars, and then other things. So we're trying to hold that, and every project will be a little bit different how we balance that out, but we're confident we will be able to, that we can pay for this. We wouldn't start it if we weren't confident, because we don't want to get partway through and not be able to do it. So we are balancing all that out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And just in case no one's asked me, but I'm just going to say it, no bond. We are not planning a bond. We're not planning a bond. And one more time, we're not planning a.
Oh, well.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for that. Yes. So, people who don't understand that, bond typically means taxes. So,
Yeah.
All right. Do we have more questions? Any more questions along those lines of the building? No? Okay. So I know you've got your report, and if you want to abbreviate it, but please feel free to take all the time you need.
Mixed messages.
I was looking at the time and I realized that I didn't want it to get too late.
I'll hit the highlights. It's a little bit longer because it's our first meeting of the year, but I'll hit the highlights. The first part of my report is just a wrap up of 2023. There's you'll get all of this in the minute, so I won't go over all of the numbers, but I really wanted to highlight that in every metric that we count, check-ins, visits, programming, the numbers at Lake Stevens Library went up over 2022. We saw a 13% increase in checkouts, a 15% increase in holds, 12% increase in customer visits. So people are continuing to use the library, More people are using the library. They're using the library more frequently. The one number I really wanted to call out is that we held 197 in-person programs at the Lake Stevens Library last year. And this was the first full year of in-person programming post-COVID. It was the first full year of in-person programming in a new building, which required staff to build community partnerships with the Boys and Girls Club, with the Senior Center, with the Parks Department, so that we could hold outdoor programming. And so it took a lot of legwork to really build that number. It took a lot of sponsorship from our Friends of the Library group to make that happen. And I think is a really important contributor to the fact that our door count went up. People come for our programs, they stay and get library cards, they stay and check out materials. And so I'm really proud of that number. I'm really proud of the work that the staff did to really to build that product for the community. I also wanted to highlight just a big Snow Owl number. On December 11th, Snow Owl Libraries reached a new milestone of 4 million digital checkouts on Overdrive. Any guesses as to the most popular genre? You have it on there. All right. So with romance being the most popular genre, people love their spicy fiction. And a 15% increase in new digital users over 2022. So not only are people using the library more frequently for physical materials, they're also using our digital materials. And more new customers are using our digital materials. So we're growing really in every aspect of service. I did include in the report just some programming and outreach updates so that y'all have an idea of the programming that's going on for the next quarter. I don't want you to miss anything super fun. There's still spots available. So if anyone is interested in a therapy horse meet and greet, Saturday, January 27th at the Senior Center, we have 2 sessions, all ages, family friendly. You can come and hear about pet therapy and the important work that they do, and meet with a miniature horse who is a therapy horse, which is adorable and super fun. And we really appreciate the Senior Center hosting some of these larger programs so that we can bring in as many folks as possible. In February, we're doing a plant share for house plants and indoor plants. So if you have any rootings or cuttings and you want to swap them out for some fresh new stuff and kind of try to encourage spring to come along a little early, we'll be doing that in February. In March, we'll be doing our first Museum on the Go for grades 3 through 5. So Imagine Museum will be doing a program. And we'll have the Woodland Park Zoo visiting the Senior Center again this year. That was a really popular program last year. I did want to highlight that once again, we received the Humanities Washington grant to host Primetime. If you'll remember, last year we did Primetime at Stevens Creek Elementary. This year we're hosting Primetime at Hillcrest Elementary. It's starting February 22nd. It's a 6-week program that supports family engagement. So families come in, they share dinner, the meals are provided through the grant. They have a scholar and a storyteller read books out loud, they show the families how to talk about the books, how to engage with reading material. If there are younger siblings, we have a preschool coordinator who can watch the little kiddos and do a little story time. And then they do that for 6 weeks. So it really teaches families how to engage with reading. And so that's going to be starting February 22nd. It'll be on Thursday evenings at Hillcrest Elementary. And then the last thing I want to touch on is the pilot project for self-service library. The last time we talked, we were calling it ELA, or Expanded Library Access. Our marketing team said, stop that right now. That's a terrible name, and have changed it to self-service library hours because that's a little bit more clear. We've started orientation. So the way that it works is that you just need to come in for a quick 10 to 15 minute in-person orientation. And that just allows us to go over some of the safety features and expectations for how you'll use self-service hours. You'll get your access code to punch into the access code pad, which is just outside the door. We've installed security cameras. I've talked to the police chief and the city administrator. We're really confident that this is going to be a popular program. We started talking to folks about it on Sunday and giving out some information. We've gotten really positive feedback and have about 10 people already signed up for orientation. So please sign up soon. And then we'll be piloting this project. So Lake Stevens is the first library in the Snow system to pilot full library access. So on Sundays from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., you'll be able to use your access code, enter the building, use the library, check out materials at the self-check, pick up your holds, print, use the computers, hang out with your kids, play with the toys. There just won't be staff there. So it's a fully self-service experience on Sundays. We're going to, the team is going to reconvene after a couple of months, take a look at the feedback that we're getting from the community, see how well the program is going, and then talk about expanding hours into different areas, whether that's early mornings, later evenings, or other days of the week where we would be able to expand hours for self-service access.
I thought that you were.
So we're currently open on Sundays from 1 to 5. Self-service hours will run from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. So there will not be staff there from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. The full day will be a self-service hour so that we can try out the pilot project and see how successful it is.
Yeah, I have a follow-up on that too. Are you finding, is part of the reason you're doing this because you're not finding a lot of people coming in and so staff isn't needed on a Sunday? Or I'm a little concerned with staff pulling back on a Sunday and not having anybody there.
So that is part of it. Our numbers on Sunday are the lowest of the week.
Sure.
Just in general, we do need to have at least 3 people there on a Sunday to run the building. And that takes away from having those staff available on other days where we have really heavy programming or other responsibilities, school outreach, things like that. So it allows us to move staff to the days of the week where it's highest need. And it also gives us an opportunity to try out the pilot project fully, to see if a full day is successful. And that way, folks have an opportunity to kind of see if those hours, like those full Sunday hours from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., it lets us know what hours are popular, when most people are visiting, and will allow us to see if our door count goes up or, really like collect the information so that we can assess it and determine where best to put our resources.
When does that begin?
It starts January 28th, so next Sunday.
So the
next
library
Sunday.
will be closed
The library will be closed
at 5, except for self-service.
except for self-service. So the library will be closed, but you can still access the library through self-service.
If you're one of those
Select
10
people.
people that have come in for the training.
You can come in for the training at any time.
Okay.
Yeah, we're providing orientations on an ongoing basis. We've had 10 people register since we opened registration for orientation since we opened it last Sunday.
And there's no limit.
There's no limit.
Okay.
Everyone in the city of Lake Stevens can apply for self-service. Yeah, I mean, anyone in the Snow Isle district can apply for self-service.
Just to add in, libraries literally around the world are doing this. So we are not leading the way, we're in the forefront. But in the state of Washington, there are some libraries that are doing it. It's an interesting, because everyone worries about safety and what's going to happen, but people become very protective of their library and watching out, right? It becomes a very community-based service where people watch and make sure that they aren't letting other people in.
Mhm.
So we're going to test that out. Again, as Antoinette said, if it
Sign me up. I love that idea.
yeah, we think it's going to be really great and provide, if you're an early morning person, we might be able to let you in at 8 a.m. instead of waiting till 10 or 11. So we're excited about it, but it is a pilot.
I think it sounds great also. I do worry about the spontaneity of just, hey, I need to go to the library. And if you're not signed up, having to go through that. Because I assume that it's an honor system and the people that are inside the library aren't supposed to open the doors for the people knocking on the outside, right? So, okay. All
Can
right.
you say-
I'm curious. I'm very curious.
I have a business in Smoky Point, and same thing is that, it's a punch-in system to get into it. And so I was really concerned too, like people going to get in, and if
Yeah.
I walk by the door for any reason, someone wants to be in, I just make myself scarce. So I'm not there to, let them in. It's a learning process. I know what you're saying. Absolutely. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so for that, for that first time as someone who just decides like, oh, I'm just going to go on Sunday and you find out that it is self-service hours only, we're open on Monday at 10 a.m. We can do orientations at any time. We're just scheduling them right now by appointment because it is a pilot and we haven't done it before. So we're just trying it out right now. But as we start to refine our process as well, and as we kind of respond to what the community needs, we could also hold like group orientations and do a few at a time or something like that. So yeah, and all you have to do is call or send me an email and we can get you right on the schedule.
I thought I might check with one of your people who has actually gone through the process. Kevin, I understand, is going through that, or have you completed your process?
I'm one of those 10 people.
You were one of
I
those
have
10
a-
people.
I have
And
an
how
appointment on-
difficult was it? Did they
No, I
fingerprint
haven't had my
you?
appointment yet. It's on Tuesday, I believe at 11 a.m.
Oh,
Very
okay.
excited.
So you haven't done it?
No,
Okay.
I'll
All
let
right.
you know how it goes.
Okay, well, yeah, you'll report back in and if they want to know your shirt size and everything else, yeah, well.
I actually.
It's just library card and photo ID, like
Okay.
super easy.
I do have a question.
Thank you.
If
Yeah.
it has a positive outcome, we see the responses really appreciated in the city. Will the hours change? Is it, or is it only ever going to be on Sunday? Is it going to be evenings after the library would normally close? Is there room for expansion, or is it only going to be Sunday?
Yeah, there's absolutely room for expansion and expansion to other libraries as well. And so we're already doing something like this with meeting rooms at Camino Island and Coopville, where they can use the meeting rooms after hours. This was the next iteration of that. So
Lake Stevens
expanding
is
to
the first city.
is the
in
first
Snow
for
Isle.
full, is the first library within the Snow Isle district for full library access. And then we would, so if it's super successful, the community really loves it, we could look at expanding, into later evening hours for, folks who need to study or who need a quiet place, or even early morning hours for folks who are on their way to work and just want to grab and pick up their holds really quick because they have a long day or something like that. So there are a lot of options and there's a lot of flexibility, and that's the exciting part of the pilot, right? Is we can kind of try it out, see how it goes, and then, respond to the needs of the community.
My daughters are always asking me to go to the library, and sometimes you guys just aren't open.
Yeah. I just talked to someone on Sunday she's like, I was driving around for 15 minutes because the kids really wanted to go to the library and I just had to get them in the car, but you don't open till 1. And so she's just really excited about self-service because she could come in at whatever, her kids wanted to go and not wait until, those staffed library hours. So far, really positive response. I completely understand, the spontaneity, but once you do that orientation, and it really is just quick 15 minutes so that we can just point out the safety features and go over the expectations, then you're set and your access code is good for a year.
I just really had this moment of, oh my gosh, I can't get to the library when I really want to. I didn't, because this is the first hearing about it. I'm excited about the pilot. I think it's going to be great. I do have a little twinge about not having staff there just because I think staff is vital for a library program at all times. But I'm excited to see how this goes. So thank you. Thanks for offering it.
Yeah. And I understand that a good part of this might have to do with using the meeting rooms. Is that correct? So everyone who might attend the meeting would have gone through the orientation and such, correct?
So for right now, because of the way that the Lake Stevens meeting room is so integrated into the space, we're not able to have meeting room reservations on Sunday because that would require letting so many people in, and all of those people would need their own access code. So the study room is still available for reservation. So if you need to meet with just a couple of people, our study room seats 4. But the meeting room is just open seating for Sundays for right now.
Okay.
And that, again, may be something that we work with. That's just sort of how we figured out how to start the project. But happy to hear feedback on that and then to adjust.
Okay.
The meeting rooms at like Camino and Coopville are separate from the library. So there's a locking door between the library and the meeting room. And so they have meeting room access after hours for anyone who wants to come in and have a meeting. And so this is just a little bit different because it's a full library access and our meeting room is so small right now. So it's a little bit more complicated.
Okay.
Anticipate with our new building that we would have meeting rooms that you're describing in Camino?
So the meeting room right now for Lake Stevens, we actually have, if we kind of take a look at the floor plans, there are several different sized meeting rooms. And so there's the large community room on the first floor, and then at the moment, there is like a medium-sized meeting room upstairs, and then 3 kind of smaller conference or study rooms. We don't yet know what self-service library services will look like in the new building, because we're just in this very initial pilot project phase. But that is something that we are absolutely talking about with all of our capital. I'll let you speak for all of our capital projects, is how to provide these self-service features, things like our after hours lockers at Camino and Monroe, and just different ways to make the library more accessible for just different needs. People have different schedules. They commute a long time. They may not be able to get to the library when staff are there, but still want to do things like pick up their holds or, print that mailing slip. I'm always trying to print a postage slip, right? So being able to just kind of pop in and do that on your own time.
That's great. Okay, well, thank you. Now, did you cover the last part here of your, because the future Lake Stevens Library?
Yes, that was what I did first. I did
Yeah,
it a
that's
little
what I
bit in
thought.
reverse,
Okay.
but I think I hit everything.
You did.
And if there are any questions, I'm here.
Yeah, I think we peppered you with a lot, so, all right. Well, good job with that report, and thank you as well for giving us the wrap up of the year. That's critical and very good news. By the way, in terms of comparatively within the system, was this kind of increase the same everywhere, or just are we unique? It's just, there was always one of the situations was and one of the arguments for moving the library to the new place was that access was, we could tell because other libraries were increasing the volume and their access and that kind of thing at a rate that was higher than Lake Stevens, because we can only build so much around this area. So anyway, can you speak to that?
As much as I would like to say it's because Lake Stevens is the most awesome, I think our numbers around the system are going up. I didn't look at every metric for every library. I looked at East District when I was looking at my metrics, and everyone saw an increase, kind of around the same range,
Okay.
but also awesome.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, that's all right. Well, thank you very much for that. Okay. We done with that? Questions and such? Okay. I would like Jean to have the opportunity to speak, give us a report from the city. And you can limit it to whatever you want to, but we always love to know what's going on in the city. You decide for yourself.
Well, I've prepared about a 2.5 hour presentation for you folks
No,
tonight.
not that.
So just sit back and enjoy. No, this is great timing. I appreciate you letting me come and speak this evening. Last night, we actually shared the Public Works and Community Development year-end report. And so those are on the website. If they're not, they will be here shortly. Super exciting time for the city. Every year we've, improved our organization by creating efficiencies and reviewing our policies. Our Public Works Department is going through accreditation right now, which is a heavy lift, and we're actually just starting the review process, which means other cities come in and review our policies and move us forward to the next level where we actually get accredited. So, and this is a nationwide program. Our police department's accredited, and they're actually going through re-accreditation right now. So they've been through it once, different system, but the same ideals where you have to have policies and procedures in place for everything. And the city just hasn't had that for Public Works ever. So it's been an adventure. It's been good for each department because, just like a purchasing policy for sand, for example, they might not have had it in the past. And if it wasn't there, we had to create it, and it touched finance, it touched admin, everybody is involved in that. So it's helped raise the level of the entire city. So we're super excited about that. A lot of our staff have gone through lean training, and we host that here, and this is known as the Center of Excellence now. And so we have other cities that are coming in and participating in that, other organizations. I think we had somebody from Amazon.
That wasn't in my class
Yeah,
recently,
it
but
was-
we had PUD and City of Linwood and Department of Emergency Management. It was a great class, this last one.
Yeah. And Disney. I think we had somebody here from Disney in one class. So it's been incredible. We've got, I'm not sure if you're familiar with that, but you come out with a green belt certificate, and then you can go to advanced level with a black belt. And we actually have 4 or 5 black belts here, which is really unheard of. And so we're really proud of that. The city of Lake Stevens is known as a leader in the Snohomish County area now. And so we're doing things like our HR director has reached out to all the other cities in Snohomish County and said, hey, we need to start being on the same level and sharing information, sharing policies, procedures, all of that. And so she started a group that meets monthly now. And that's never happened in the history of Snohomish County that I recall. That it already happens with our community development, with the help of Snohomish County, the city managers and administrators, we meet with the help of Snohomish County. But another example of that is our planning department. Our city official, building official now meets with all the other building officials in Snohomish County, and they compare their inspection processes, and they're trying to streamline them into the same process, because what you get is a lot of contractors from city to city that will come in, build here in Lake Stevens, say, well, in Snohomish, they don't require this, and they don't require that. We're trying to help them and, keep costs for construction lower by coordinating with the other cities and having the same inspection processes throughout Snohomish County, so that when you come build in this county, you know what's going to be expected from each city, because it's going to be the same. So we're really leading the charge and collaboration in Snohomish County. We're excited about it. Downtown is going to be torn up this summer. I don't know if you have heard, but we've got 2 projects going on. So we're going to finish out Main Street, street trees, lighting that matches out front of the mill here. The sewer district is going to be putting a sewer line down through here. So there's going to be a ton of construction. We've been working with the board for Aquafest, talking with them about what Aquafest looks like next year. And we also have the roundabout going in. So next, right at the chicken where the intersection is now, there's a roundabout that's under design that will go there. It's a really nice design in that we get to keep the chicken. And the road will actually go towards the north a little bit as you come into the intersection, so we can keep the chicken. And we're trying to get a stackable lane in there, so that right now all their patrons back up on 20th. If we can do a double stackable lane there like McDonald's, then we can alleviate some of that traffic backup. So we're working with that. There's a developer that's got a proposal in for the lot where the coffee stand is. So they're participating in this. The fire district passed their bond, so they're going to be updating the fire station as well. And so all 3 of us are working together to try and plan our projects together and have one stormwater facility that we all cost share in, which lowers the cost of everybody's project. So a ton of collaboration going on in the community. So that's what's going on downtown next summer. Then City Hall. You probably heard that we're in the process of buying the South Lake Stevens property, which is right where the police department sits today. We're going to keep as many leases, if you will, in there, meaning the restaurants and the like. We're going to try and keep those in place, except for the building we're going to house, which is the large building out front. But the pizza place will stay there. The Subway, all that kind of stuff is going to stay there, in the teriyaki place for now. But the city will house a large building. And what's really unique about this project is that those that own it today, they're going to have to build a new building, and they're planning on doing that across the street, build a new building for them to move into. So we not only get into a facility where we've got people leasing the space that helps us pay back the bonds to purchase that, but we're going to get a couple new commercial buildings coming out of the ground across the street on vacant property that we don't have there today. So we'll get some revenue from that and places for people to start a business out of, right? You have lease space there. So we're super excited about that program. We will be closing early March is our plan. And we will immediately start working above the Subway building to build out the council chambers. This building will remain, obviously, and this will be a usable space, but we'd like to have a council chambers that's a permanent location. That will be upstairs at the Subway building. That'll be the first phase. We'll start on that immediately. It's probably as early as this summer, trying to get that built out. The people that are in the building currently, it'll probably take them a year to 2 years to build their new building and get moved out. That means that 2025, we're going to be in there building out the new city hall building, doing the remodel there, and then moving in late 2025. And when we do that, these buildings will come out, meaning the city hall buildings, just the big square. The little side building, we're going to leave, and we're hoping to put some restrooms in that and make it a space for the Parks Department to be able to lease out or rent out to people. Maybe you want a yoga class in there, or art class, something like that. So that building will remain for the community, but the big buildings will go out, and that'll be parking lot. So we'll have additional parking up here, which we're super excited about. Okay. We've got tons of other projects, but that's pretty much my report, but I'm open for questions.
A little bit scary. My taxes doubled last year. So I'm hoping that I can still live here.
Okay.
A lot of stuff going on, a lot of money.
There is.
Yeah.
There is.
Yeah.
Yeah. The good part about City Hall is we didn't raise taxes for that. So councilmatic bonds to get that out of the ground. Yeah.
I know this is not necessarily within your purview, but I just was wondering, do you have any word as far as what is going in next door to the library space? I know that that space was sold, but were there any provisos in terms of what might go there or anything else? Has the city, through the permitting process, have we come up with any kind of answers? And are they working or willing to work with Snow Isle to kind of keep some continuity to that?
Yes and yes. So there's the city put that out for RFP. We received 3 or 4 proposals of developments for that site. We chose one, and we've been negotiating that process with the prospective developer for about a year now. It takes time to come up with a development agreement to make sure that it meets the ideas of not only the council, but the comprehensive plan for that area. So hopefully in the next month, if not sooner, we'll have a development agreement on the table for the city council to review and ultimately approve. And once that happens, then the property will close and the developer can start working on actually finalizing the permitting process, meaning they've submitted stuff, we're under review, but it's more making sure it fits with the development agreement versus actual permit process. So, but the permitting process should go quicker because we've already been working with this developer to review their work. So the coordination with the Snow Isle, I don't know if there's been physical conversations. Russ would be the one to answer that. But I do know there's been conversations between Russ and the developer on locations at driveways and how the parking lot's laid out, because this developer happens to be a local person and is well aware of the collaboration that went on with the city and the Snow Isle prior to the city deciding to sell the property. So that has been happening, and we're recommending that continue to happen.
Okay. Well, just as I think I can speak for this board to say that we are hopeful that that will continue to happen, and that, the collaboration will be there, because we obviously we care. We wouldn't be serving on this board if we didn't care about the libraries. It's provided through Snow Isle. And so given that and what all has happened in this becoming a commercial venture next door, we want to make sure that we're sort of protecting that and making the best use of that land for the city and, for those who appreciate library services. So anyway, thank you very much.
I can say this, Abe, that it was important to council to have what they have talked about as a purple spike, which means an economic growth center, right? And a project that blows the city up as far as economic development and revenue generated from that site. The proposed building will be setting the new standard for Lake Stevens. It is going to be incredible. I've been in awe over the designs that these folks have brought forward. It's like nothing that Lake Stevens has today, but it'll set the standards for the future.
Is this I thought I saw that the land use was out for a mixed use with like a 60 unit apartment or residential at the top and commercial at the bottom. I thought that, I mean, there's two properties right now, right? Catty corner to each other. One has a for sale sign on it, but I understand that's been sold. I thought that the one that we're talking about that's right next to the library, that went to the city council, that a proposed use already.
It is, it's a mixed use. You're absolutely right.
Okay.
It's multi-story. I don't recall off the top of my head the unit count or anything like that. I really stay out of that and let Russ do those negotiations and work that through. The less I know, the better, except I know it is mixed use
Okay.
at that
Okay.
particular location, because he has to keep confidentiality, if that makes sense,
Yeah.
with the developers. So he keeps a lot of that stuff to himself, except for what we have to publish on the public hearing notices that are out there.
Yeah. I don't know anything beyond the public hearing notice, so could totally have the number wrong. I do feel like that information was out there.
Yeah, okay. Okay, well, that's good to hear. And we will have more information, if I heard you right, within a month or so.
That is our goal.
Presented to the city council.
That's our
Okay.
goal.
Good, excellent. Any other questions for Gene, including those online? Anything? You doing okay? All right, we've gone kind of long here. This is good though, all very good stuff. And thank you very much for your report. Let's see, that should do it. I would like to have the opportunity for board comments. And I'll start over here with Joanne, if you would like to say anything.
It's a lot of productive information. Thank you. Really been
Okay,
enlightening.
all right, good. Let me go online. So Emily, do you have any comments? Anything you want to say?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Okay. So let's see. Nancy, thank you. I'm sorry. I'm looking at it doesn't have your full name there, so I'm
Well,
sorry.
it's
Go ahead.
Hawaiian. I just want to again thank those from the Snow Isle for all the information they bring to these meetings. It's good. And we're starting to get excited when we can see the drawings and stuff like that on the web. So I appreciate everything you do.
Great. All right. Andy, have anything?
Yeah, it's good. A lot of good information.
Okay. All right. First time, but you're welcome to have any comments.
I just want to say thank you. I've enjoyed myself and look forward to the next meeting.
Okay, very good. Shaylin?
Actually, yes, I do have one. I read in the paper about the Everett annexation, the possible Everett annexation into Snow Isle. And so I just look forward to hearing more about that later, because I think that is a great opportunity. So I'm excited about that. Thank you.
Okay. And then for me, again, thank you very much for what you provided. Great deal more information. And we understand that some of it you have to, it takes some time to give full answers. We get that. The only other thing that I did want to mention was that while it may have seemed a bit rushed, I did reach out to each one of the board members to let them know about what was going to be happening in terms of the election of officers. It may have seemed like it was pro forma. If it felt that way, it was because it was. We haven't exactly had people clamoring to take officers' positions in the past. However, I do want you to know that normally at the October meeting that we have the elections again. And I had just failed to do that at the last meeting. If you aren't interested in being, either chair or secretary, please talk to me. I mean, it's best if we don't have it surprise somebody and somebody, I just go, hey, I'd like to nominate Andy, and Andy doesn't know about it. Well, that's not a very good idea. So we'd like to talk about it. So if you'd like to, if you are interested, by all means, it's not like it's a fixed type thing. We'll do that. So please come talk to me if you'd like to be involved more. The other thing I wanted to talk to each one of you about and encourage you, as I was talking with Kevin about the fact that we only meet quarterly, we hear the reports, we have questions, we really don't vote a lot on things because we don't necessarily, you know, have a lot that is something we should have to vote on. However, that should not preclude you from becoming as involved as you might want to be in addressing whatever issues you feel like you would like to do. Trust me, people here on this board have been approached by neighbors, friends, whoever, who know that we serve on the library board, and they say, hey, I'm concerned about this, or I'm concerned about that. What do you know about this? I don't know, but I'll go to and talk with someone about it. And so feel free to become as involved as you want to be, because we do serve at the pleasure of the city council and the mayor, and they're trusting us that if we come back to them and say, hey, you know, we're wondering about this, and maybe we can do that with the library. They listen to us. Shocker of shockers, they actually do. And that's what the role that we play. And so I really want to encourage you be as involved as you want to be. Don't feel like you have to, that the important work that happens during this meeting. It can, but I encourage each and every one of you to take a greater role if that's what you would like to do. I mean, if you just, you know, I'm so glad that you come and make the quorum so that we can actually have these meetings. But as much as anything else, please become as involved as you would like to be. Introduce yourselves to the staff, introduce yourselves to the staff of the city, let them know. I mean, become involved. That's the way that that's what it's supposed to be. And how it's supposed to be done. So hey, thank you. All right. That's all that I have.
Abe, do you want to circle back around to approval of the October minutes, or would you rather do that at the next meeting?
Yes. Okay. So, yeah. So can we can do that without, I mean, the fact that we were down a couple of members since we started, right?
4, 5. Yeah, you have a quorum, so you can
We have a
definitely
quorum.
approve the
Okay.
minutes.
All right. Well, so we do need to then, so anybody have any additions, deletions, anything to, in terms of our approval of the minutes? No? Okay. The way that we've done it in the past, if you have not, we don't have it, rather than taking a vote on that, it is by unanimous consent, and that means that we approve the minutes, all right? By unanimous consent. However, I like to take a vote just for the fun of it, as far as our adjournment. So would somebody like to make a motion that we adjourn?
I make a motion.
Oh, good.
Sorry.
There we
I make
go.
a motion, we adjourn.
Nancy
Thank
made
you.
it. Anybody would like to second that?
I second.
Oh, wow. Very brave of you to second that motion there. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Hi.
Adjourned at 5:54 PM. And next meeting is going to be April 18th